All right, we're live. Ooh, what was that noise? That's kind of crazy. All right, we're live, people. That's right. Here we are. So, average Joe walk number 1,375,000. No, yeah, right. Uh, Live number, what, 9, 10? Something like that. One of these times I'll go back and count. I think it's 9 or 10. Anyways, so hopefully you guys all having a good afternoon, wherever you're at. Can't stop raining here. Raining for on and off, what, 4 days straight now? I'm in the backyard building an ark, seeing if Noah will show up. Anyways, so hope you guys liked my video. I dropped another one uh, yesterday, and that one specifically was just starting to talk about the neck and the shoulder. Kind of how you separate the two, differentiate the two, however you want to call it. How you tell the difference between that neck and that shoulder. Hi, liberator of self, huh? Hi, y'all at Paul. Hi, nice to see you. So that last video really specifically just starting to get into the idea of how the heck do I know if I have a neck problem or a shoulder problem, or if I got both? And what's really going on? Do they kind of make the same? You know, it feels like it's in both spots at the exact same time, pain-wise. In actuality, it's not. It might feel that way because our nervous system really isn't that smart. I'll give you a prime example. All right, if something's too cold, like really cold, and you touch it, it feels like it burns you, right? And if something's too hot and you touch it, it feels like it burns you. Body can't differentiate the difference between if something's too cold and something's too hot. So our nervous system really isn't as, I mean, it's fairly complex, but compared to other animals, not really. So there's that piece of it. So your body really can't tell the difference. Can't really tell the difference between the two. So especially when you talk about your neck and your shoulder, and there's a lot of the muscles that connect to both, which I kind of hinted at a little bit. Next couple of videos, next one's going to be, if you saw at the end of this last one, I'm going to talk a little bit about the rotator cuff and just shoulder arthritis or shoulder pain. Kind of give you an idea, what the heck is it? Do I have a rotator cuff problem? Do I have really a ball and socket problem? You know, kind of hurts when I sleep on it. Kind of feels like it travels a little bit. So I'm starting to really give people the idea of how you differentiate the difference between, from a clinical aspect, when someone comes in, and give you guys some ideas at home how to actually treat it. You know, you gotta know where it's coming from before you can treat it. Otherwise, you're just, as I call it, pissing in the wind. So that's a big thing. You got to make sure you're doing that. So neck and shoulder, kind of give you a little bit more detail, a little bit more into the actual episode. I got someone on my mind. And so, one, we talked about that one main muscle a little bit. It's called the levator scapula. And that runs from your shoulder blade. It's called the superior angle of the scapula, but anyways, it's the top part of the shoulder blade and runs all the way up and attaches at each side of your neck, called the transverse processes. And so it's going to attach to several places, one on each side. It helps the shoulder blade rotate, helps it shrug. It's a main mover, really, of your shoulder. And people tend to want to push on it a lot. You know, it gets a knot in it, what we call active and latent trigger points. In this case, latent trigger point is when you push on something, but it hurts, but it doesn't go anywhere. An active trigger point, which a lot of people end up doing on accident when they do a deep tissue massage, is it starts really getting angry and refers in that particular muscle group, mid part of the back, up the neck, into the head. And I mean, it's a it's got a lot of spots where it can really get irritated and refer pain to. And in that case, you can really start guessing on a witch hunt to figure out where your pain's coming from, because that particular muscle group diffuses pain all over depending on what side of the body you're talking about. If it's on the left side, it can hit the neck, mid-back, shoulder, give you headaches. So people start pushing on that, try and get it to release. You start digging with the elbow. That's crazy talk. People do that, they don't know what they're doing. One, they're going to bruise you probably. And two, it might feel good for a second, like I said in my video, but then the damn thing flares up after a day and you're wondering why. Why am I hurting more? Or it helps a little bit, you know. That's the problem. Doesn't really solve the problem. Kind of pushes it down the road and you figure out why it was inflamed in the first place. So, this Amazon driver's got a problem. Car doesn't want to stay running. So anyways, so yeah, that's a huge muscle group. Another muscle group that people kind of ignore a little bit when they're having neck and shoulder problems, they're called the scalene muscles. And there's one in the middle, there's one in the front, and there's one in the back. So you have an anterior, middle, and a posterior scalene muscle, and they all attach in different parts. And boy, oh boy, can they get inflamed. Start pain in the front, pain in the back, pain in the head, and you're wondering, what the heck's going on here? Why is my head hurting? I'm going to switch this for a second. Look at all the people moving in and out of this place. It's crazy. Look at that. Look at all the people moving in and out. Insane. Crazy. And they wonder why I can't ever pay anything off. I don't even get into this part. Look at this guy's house. Isn't this ridiculous? I mean, seriously? You gotta be kidding me. All right, $400,000 home. It looks like it's got woods in front of it. I think the word is called neglect. Anyways, I digress. So yeah, that two main muscle groups there really flare up that neck and mid-back area. And you might think it's coming from your shoulder, and it's really not your shoulder, or you think it's might coming from your neck, and it's not. It's really coming from really off to the side. It could be. So or it could be coming just from that one muscle group. And why is it happening that way? And you can look at my catalog called the levator scapula. I think I did leave a tag on it for you in this last video. It goes over some nice videos, some nice pictures of that muscle group, where it's at, and the types of treatment. I think I talked about an ice and TENS unit. I think I have Theracane on that particular video. I did it a couple years ago now. It has to be at least 2 years ago now. So that one's, I mean, it's still, excuse me, it's still really relevant. I mean, it is. So I think I even talked about taping techniques, mechanical taping, or no, it wasn't mechanical. I probably was using mechanical tape to hold the shoulder in place. Because a lot of times it's a rounded shoulders or a protracted postural shoulder problem that's making that levator scapular muscle over elongated, causing you to have the problem in the first place. So you're stretching that thing more, and you're putting trigger point on it, pushing on it more. And the reality is the mechanism of problem is the tissue's over elongated to begin with, and all you're doing is making it worse because you're stretching it more. It's already overstretched. Why would you stretch it more? So you want to shorten it. You want to rest it. So anyways, if you have questions around that, just DM me down below, or go onto my main page, Average Joe PT, and you can go ahead and ask the question there, and I'll go ahead and get back to you. But that's one that's I've even seen professionals treat it incorrectly. They'll treat it with ultrasound, electrical stim, deep tissue massage, and they might do some postural education, but all they've done is taken an elongated piece of tissue and made it even worse, and wonder why that's flared. Oh, it feels a little bit better, and then I go home and it hurts more again. It really ain't getting any better. Well, that's why, because you're not treating it correctly. So I probably saved yourself there a lot of anguish and thousands of dollars just by telling you that hidden secret. So you're welcome. So, so yeah, that last video I think really helped to separate the difference between how you tell if you have a neck problem or if you have really truly a an actual shoulder issue. You know, kind of separate out the two. If you're having, like I said in the video, if you have a lot of numbness or tingling, then your symptoms get worse. Well, it's because it's coming from your neck. Don't treat it with a shoulder problem. You know, or God, I get a lot of clicking. Kind of feels like it's in my neck and shoulder. Well, it's not your neck; it's your shoulder problem. You gotta treat it as that. And I put some links into that video on shoulders and how you can actually work through that. That way your symptoms go away. And holy cow, I'm good to go again. Hopefully you'll continue to hit thumbs up and like and subscribe for more tips and tricks. So if not, well, all right. Well, thanks for coming by. And hopefully you're walking like I am, getting out there, maybe watching a video or two at the same time, give you some insight. So let's go on to a horror stories. I always like to try, I started this whole piece out, 8-9 videos about horror stories in therapy. So let me at least give you one here. I gotta do at least one. So, horror story number one. So, actually, maybe it's the only story. Let's see what I come up with. So, this is probably 2010, maybe 2011, somewhere around there. And I'm treating this person, and they got a lower back problem. They're having some nerve pain, some radicular symptoms. So I'm treating them with traction. Woo! Fun, fun, fun! Of course. And so we're treating it as such, doing some traction. Started out with manual, see how they would tolerate the manual lumbar traction. And then we went into mechanical. Symptoms started to improve. They get worse, they come back again. Started to figure out what the heck this person was doing wrong, not realizing it. Well, they were doing a lot of sitting. And how much sitting were they doing? Hours. And what kind of position were they sitting in? The letter C. And what kind of furniture were they sitting in? None. They're sitting on the floor. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we could do all the exercising, all the reducing the nerve impingement, improving synovial fluid within the joint space we want, but if you don't stop that or reduce it dramatically, you're not going to get anywhere. So as a therapist, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out here. Here you go. As a therapist, you always want to really be a detective. Detective number one. If you're not a detective, you're wasting your time, because you can do all the appropriate things you have to and do the evaluation correctly, and then all of a sudden still not get anywhere weeks ahead because you really haven't listened or the patient hasn't told you. So that being said, you have to make sure when you watch my videos or you actually seek professional treatment, you tell them every little detail, because within those details, it's really going to give some of the ideas of whether they're going to get improvement or not, or whether you need to change the treatment plan a little bit. So you have to deal with that. If you're not willing to open up and really say, okay, I have it during bathroom, or I have it when I'm at work, but it's only when I go down some stairs, whatever it may be. Those little details is the most important piece, because they really can key into the therapist what actual tests to do or the doctor, whoever else you're seeing. So that's the horror story. Is I went weeks knocking my head, going home, thinking about this patient, and why the hell they're getting better, but then they get worse again. So at the end of the day, did they get better? They got a little bit. You know why? Because they did kind of Joe-ish stuff. They didn't do average Joe. They did average Joe-ish, which means is they did part of what I told them to do and not everything. And so they got a little bit better. I don't know. They came a few more visits and then stopped coming because they didn't get any better, they thought, probably. My assertion I give is if you did average Joe-ish, then yeah, you're going to get average Joe-ish results. So that being said, don't do average Joe-ish. You just do average Joe. That might be a new slogan for me. I might have to take that run with that a little bit. Don't do average Joe-ish. I think I just came up with a new slogan. Might have to put that on a t-shirt. Start some merch at some point. Hard to tell. Anyways, so that's a horror story for you. Imagine you all. Imagine this, okay? I worked at Frito-Lay for years, factory work. Nothing wrong with it. Make a good buck. But imagine you went to work every day and you're the one that has to control that machine. That machine has to spit out so much every hour, on the hour, to make production. And guess what? Every day you come in and someone previous shift messes around with it, but says they didn't do anything. Oh, it's worked fine for me. How frustrated do you think you'd get when you're banging your head every time that you come in and you have to recalibrate it or have to fix it or do whatever to get it to run so you can meet your production rate? After a while, you get kind of frustrated. Then you're going home thinking, what the hell? Why the hell is this thing not working? It's the same thing with my job, okay? Except for it's not a piece of machinery, it's a human being. And they're not telling you the whole story. Same thing, your coworker's not telling you the whole story. And then you might or might not meet production. He said, she said. They blame you, they blame you, or you blame them. We don't get anywhere. Same thing with treatment. At the end of the day, you kind of blamed me. I didn't get no better. It's their fault. In actuality, you just did Joe-ish. Average Joe-ish. Doesn't work. So, if you want to kind of get some sort of association between your type of work and therapist type of work, that gives you an idea right there, a horror story. So if you have any questions on any of those pieces, I'm going to go in a lot more detail over next several. I mean, I could probably will make probably 10 videos just on different parts of the neck, different parts of the shoulder, really just starting out and separating out the two, giving you an idea of, okay, if you came in having these problems, how would you fix yourself? And I'm hoping that's what you guys get out of these videos. Is how can I, educate myself enough, whether you need to go back to your medical doctor or not, but really give you a decent idea of what's going on, because that helps reduce anxiety when you know what's going on, as well as a lot of times you can solve it yourself. The human body's pretty amazing. It can heal itself a lot of times if you put it in the right environment. And the treatment techniques I've shown and education I give can really help put you in the right environment to heal yourself, or at least give you a fighting chance to heal yourself. So I'll leave you at that. And like I always say, look up and keep smiling. See you next time, folks.